it was like I got out and I had that path where I could go one way or I could go the other. And I feel like I made the right choice coming here.
I love my life so much now, and I have so much hope and so much joy in my life. There's no comparison to the person I was back then.
Today we're going to talk about a serious issue in our community and our country, drug and alcohol addiction and recovery. Join us as we learn about an organization called Georgia's Friends that provides a safe and healing house for women as they maintain their sobriety and build a new life for themselves after treatment or incarceration. Come on.
We provide a home for up to 12 women, supervised living, and encourage the women to really take care of themselves and focus on their own healing and recovery and growth. Our motto is recover, grow, and thrive. And I think those words describe what our mission is about.
And Dorothy, you founded Georgia's Friends. Tell us the story behind that.
Well, it was a group of us who were very saddened by the death of a woman named Georgia, who was very talented, very lovely person. And she had a big struggle with alcohol, and she just couldn't stop drinking. She would come to treatment, to the outpatient treatment program. And her last event was she was arrested for being drunk in public, and she was incarcerated at the local jail, and she committed suicide. And it was so tragic because she was a very lovely person. And a number of us felt that, I mean, we didn't know for sure, but we felt that if she'd had a structured recovery environment to live in, where she could just work on her recovery, that maybe this wouldn't have happened. So we formed this group called Georgia's Friends. And we weren't sure at first exactly what we were going to do, but we wanted to do something in her memory.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we found a house, and the landlady is named Georgia.
That's
so
perfect.
We have two Georgias. Georgia, who started the Georgia's Friends, and now a landlady named Georgia. So thus Georgia's Healing House.
Right.
And it's a perfect location because we're a little bit away from things, but yet close to bus lines. It was already set up in 4 units, so we have 4 apartments now. It's going well.
Well, and you understand too, because you are a recovering alcoholic.
Right.
So you really understand the struggle and the process. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my own experience was similar to a lot of other women in that we started using alcohol to essentially self-medicate. I didn't know how to deal with anxiety. I didn't know how to deal with a lot of other stresses in life. And I discovered that, this temporary reprieve that alcohol would give me I liked it. And then my solution turned into a problem.
I grew up in Charlottesville, went to private school, went to college, and I was working 60 hours a week, had a brand new baby, husband to take care of, a husband who was sick, and I didn't cope very well at all. And so I started taking pills from where I worked. And that began my 5-year addiction to opiates and painkillers.
I was 28 years old before I ever used drugs. I used for a few years. I went to prison for 4.5 years. I came home. I did so good for like 5 or 6 years. I got custody of my kids back, and I was a manager at Bojangles, and I'd hurt my back at work, and they put me on Lortabs. It went from pills to heroin. You do anything for the drug.
I started using marijuana at the age of 21. I never knew anything about drugs or alcohol or anything. I was introduced to marijuana by a significant other that I was with, a boyfriend that I was with on my 21st birthday. And in 2000, I had stopped. And then in like 2008, I started drinking. It was uncontrollable, unbearable.
It's very difficult to get over it, to get into recovery.
Right.
It's a lot of hard work because a person needs to learn new life skills.
Right.
And that's what this house is about, is giving the person the time to work on those life skills so that they don't just their brain doesn't just automatically say, well, I know what makes you feel better, and go use or drink.
Right.
Again, there's not been good services for women who need a place to go. And so the fact that the drug epidemic is on the rise,
Right.
and the fact that there's more and more women in jail, I think just shows that we need a lot of houses like this.
I mean, one of the things the House does here is to give the women a lot of support, whether it's getting a driver's license, going to intensive outpatient treatment, and so forth. And so in a structured house like this, they get a lot of support with that kind of thing.
And there are studies that show that being in a group, being with others, is part of the process. Learning to live with others. It's
Learning to
really
live with
part of the recovery, right?
It really is. Yeah.
Okay, and then how does someone come here? You can't just show up.
We do have an application process, and we're getting referrals from the courts, from the jail, from recovery places. And so we read the application, we check with references, and then we do an interview. So it is a process.
And the residents have to sign a contract once they're
Yes.
accepted. Talk about the contract. What's in there?
Well, first is their commitment to work on their recovery, and that they're not going to use drugs or alcohol. And of course, they're not going to engage in any kind of behavior that's harmful to anybody else. And they're held to conduct standards. They're also required to go to 12-step meetings. If going to outpatient therapy has been recommended, that we require that they actually do that. And we facilitate their getting there.
Part of addiction, often being an addict, will take you places you never thought
Absolutely.
that
That's
you would
right.
go, and you do things that you never thought you would do. And
That's why one of the things I share with the women is that this disease, it's a disease of the brain, and it gets you to do things that are against your ethics, from simple lying to theft, which is a fairly common problem actually in addicts.
so what happens if someone breaks the contract?
Well, typically it would be someone who would start using drugs or alcohol, and then we do regular testing for that. And so if someone is found with a positive test, then we meet with them, Dorothy or I would meet with them and say, you have to leave. And then we work with them. Where are they going to go? And we wouldn't kick anybody out at night. They stay the night. In fact, a woman who's now going on 7 months with us came early, stayed one night, wanted to go out drinking, and reapplied, and now is back doing really well. And we know that relapse is part of the disease.
Right.
80% of the women at some point are going to have a relapse. So we understand that, and certainly invite the women when they're ready to reapply. And then we go through the interview process again.
Right, so how long does someone tend to stay? That's the other thing, too.
Most recovery houses have a stay of 3 months or more. Now, some are 3 months, and that's for everybody.
Right.
Well, even if they need more, they can't stay more than 3 months. But we wanted to make sure that, since a lot of people are going to need more than 3 months, that we don't set a limit.
Right.
So as
it's-
long as people are making progress in their recovery, they can stay.
Being here, I don't feel overwhelmed, Like today, if I just want to sit in the house and, just spend time reading my daily meditations, or, just spend time focusing on myself, I can do that today to get my mind straight.
Since I've been here at Georgia's Healing House, it's given me the mind and the desire to want to go forward and get my GED. So I'm working very hard this semester and trying to really obtain my GED.
This house provides a more therapeutic environment than the jail can at less than half the cost. This is just one piece of a larger effort to try to slowly and intelligently decarcerate our local jail to a point where we can apply high-intensity jail resources on folks who are at most likelihood to commit a new crime.
I really think of each woman as a success. I mean, for whatever time they were here, they were clean and sober. They have been introduced to a place and a way of healing, even if they need to come back to it then.
Yeah, and describe a typical day here. Let's have a picture of what is a typical day like here at Georgia's house?
So the first week or two are around sort of the essentials of basic living and figuring out who will be part of your healing team here. And then after that, most of them have a daily schedule, be it part-time work,
Right.
be it outpatient alcohol and drug treatment. Of course, they all go to their daily evening or during the day recovery meeting support groups. And right now in our house, everyone has a job, either part-time or full-time work, so that they move into work pretty quickly because of wanting something meaningful to do and wanting to start earning money.
Right, and they contribute to the house, and then they also contribute to a savings, right? So that's
And many of
fantastic.
them do have court fines, back child support, restitution that they're paying. So most of them are also trying to get out of a hole, of a financial hole
Right.
that they have dug.
Right. And if people want to help with this house, what can they do?
We have like a list of things, but we also have opportunities for women who, or men who want to help us with anything from handymen to bringing in occasional meals to spending time with the women here.
Yeah. Well, this is really important work. Thank you all so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can succeed in this program. It's not a hard program. It's all in what we make it. If we want the change, then change will be.
They say in recovery, it's really good if you can change people, places, and things. And being from Roanoke and being up here not knowing anybody, I think I have a lot stronger of a chance of making it, you know. Just, I have to be very careful who I hang out with and who I trust, but I'm learning how to trust people again, so.
It's been a long struggle with addiction. For so long, I felt nothing. I just felt absolutely nothing. And I was dead inside for 17 years. And I'm not dead inside anymore. I'm a full, blossoming person that is so thrilled to be in recovery and so happy about my life right now that, and a lot of it is due to this house. And the rest of it's due to Narcotics Anonymous. And I'm so grateful, so grateful.